Where did it go, man? I'm looking for the live stream. Did it start?
It says live.
It says live. Huh? It's not showing up here. I don't see it here. Let me see if you can pull it up on your phone.
Yeah, it says live as well.
You got it?
Yeah, this is live.
Maybe I just had to. I just closed it and yeah, there it goes. I had to close it and start it again. I just closed it and yeah, there it goes. I had to close it and start it again. All right. Let's get going. All right. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. All right, so we are on chapter 96. Bab Sibab al-Abid. All right, so this is the chapter on insulting the servants, right? You got it?
96.
96. What does it say?
It says abusing. Abusing servants.
But verbally abusing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because it comes from the word sub. And sub, it means to insult. Yeah. All right. So, قال الإمام البخاري رحمه الله تعالى hadith number 189. حدثنا Adam. I almost just want to read like 20 hadiths today. Or not 20, like 11, 12 hadiths today just to hit 200 and just, you know, so close, man. All right. حدثنا Adam. And Adam is Ibn Abi Iyas. قال حدثنا شعبة بن الحجاج قال حدثنا واصل الأحدب قال سمعت المعرور ابن سويد يقول رأيت أبا ذر. And this goes back to a previous hadith that we read. This hadith right here is in Muslim or Bukhari? Let me see. I think it's in Bukhari. 189. No, it's in Muslim and Bukhari. All right. So this hadith is muttafaqun alayh. But this goes back to the hadith of Abu Dhar that we spoke about the other day, where he had on a shirt, and his servant had on a different shirt, like a hulla. You know, they didn't have the hulla because they couldn't make the hulla, because we said the hulla means what? That you have the izar and the ridat. The ridat is the thing that you cover your top part of your body with, and they're from the same fabric and they're new. All right, that's one thing that I didn't mention in the last class, was that the hulla also has to be new. So what some of the ulama said is that Abu Dhar, he was wearing one new piece of clothing and one old piece of clothing, and his servant was wearing one new piece of clothing and one old piece of clothing. So that's why they were asking him about that. Like, why you could just give him your old piece of clothing, but if he gave him the old piece of clothing, then what? He'd have two pieces of new clothing, which would be a hulla, and his servant would have a hulla, but it would be what? It'd be old and worn, maybe, you know, so he didn't want to do that. He wanted to be fair. After this is now we're going to see what the Prophet ﷺ said to him. So he said, يَقُولُ رَأَيْتُ أَبَا ذَرْ. So he said, I saw Abu Dhar radiallahu anhu, وَعَلَيْهِ حُلَّةٌ وَعَلَى غُلَامِهِ حُلَّةٌ. All right, he said he had a hulla and his servant had a hulla. What he means by hulla here is not the hulla of the exact meaning, but it means that he had on an izar and a ridat. All right, but they were not the same. All right, so here he doesn't mean that hulla in the actual meaning of the word, but he means that he had on a izar, which is the covering from you know, the thing you wrap around your waist, and the ridat, which is what you wrap around your upper body. He said, فَسَأَلْنَاهُ عَنْ ذَلِكَ. So we asked him about this. فقال إني ساببت رجلا فشكاني إلى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. He said I insulted a man and he complained to the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم. And in another narration, in a different narration, he insulted him in regards to his lineage. because if I'm not mistaken, the man's mother was black, and this is how he insulted him. He insulted him by saying, you're like the something of this regards, right? Because of his lineage. I don't want, just leave it. You read it, you read it. But this was the insult that he said to him. He insulted him in regards to his race, right? And he got angry and he got emotional and he said this. So the guy went to the Prophet ﷺ and he complained. فَقَالَ لِلنَّبِيِّ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وسلم. So the Prophet ﷺ said to him. Now, the thing that's left out of this hadith, well, I'll go over what's left over once we finish the reading of the hadith. But he said, أَعَيَّرَتَهُ بِأُمِّهِ. Did you insult him and belittle him and about his mother? Because like I said, in another narration, it said that his mother is what? His mother's black, so he was mixed. So he insulted him through that, through his lineage. So he said, what did it say here?
Did you insult him by his mother?
Yeah, I mean, and to insult him by him, yeah. قلت نعم, he said yes. ثم قال إن إخوانكم خولكم. He said, your brothers, and I'll focus on this now. He said, إن إخوانكم. He said, your brothers are what? خولكم. Khawal here, it means a khadam. It means that they're here, that they're serving you. That they're serving you. But they're to help you and to make things easier for you, right? جَعَلَهُمُ اللَّهُ تَحْتَ أَيْدِيكُمْ. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed them, as possession, like as a responsibility, and they're they're your possession, right? But they're also a responsibility. It's not just you can sit here and talk to them however you want to talk to them and beat them however you want to beat them. He said, جَعَلَهُمُ اللَّهُ تَحْتَ أَيْدِيكُمْ فَمَنْ كَانَ أَخُوهُ تَحْتَ يَدَيْهِ. And whoever's brother is is possessed, is under this brother's possession, فَلْيُطْعِمْهُ مِمَّا يَأْكُلُ. They let him feed him from what he eats. وَلْيُلْبِسْهُ مِمَّا يَلْبَسْ. And let him clothe him from the same clothing that he wears. وَلَا تُكَلِّفُوهُمْ مَا يَغْلِبُهُم. And don't give them a burden, like a task or a job that's more difficult for them to do. Always give them work that's within their means and within their capabilities. He said, مَا يَغْلِبُهُم فَأَنْ كَلَفْتَمُوهُم. And if you do give them a difficult work that's beyond their capabilities, مَا يَغْلِبُهُم فَعِينُوهُم. Then you go help them. Help him. Make sure that he gets it done, but you also help him. So this is the hadith. Now, what the Prophet ﷺ said to Abu Dhar when he, in another narration, because like I said, this is in Bukhari and Muslim. So the other narration, when he said, أَعَيَّرَتُهُ بِأُمِّهِ. When Abu Dhar said, قُلْتُ نَعَمْ قَالَ إِنَّكَ إِمْرٌ فِيكَ جَاهِلِيَّةٌ. He said that you are a man that still has jahiliyyah in you. Because you're still insulting him based on what? His race, his lineage, or whatever. And this is from the affairs of Jahiliyyah. The Prophet ﷺ mentioned about the things from Jahiliyyah that the people will not leave them. And what are they? الفخر في الأحساب والطعن في الأنساب. And he mentioned a ta'an, that the person, he insults a person's lineage. And he speaks bad about a person's lineage. Oh, shut up. You're from Bani Fulan. You're from this, he belittles them based on his lineage. And this is from the affairs of Jahiliyyah. And this is what he did. So this is why the Prophet ﷺ mentioned this. He said, إِنَّكَ إِمْرٌ فِيكَ جَاهِلِيَّةٌ. Which goes to show that there are still, that the people can still, there's no doubt Abu Dhar, mu'min, right? Inshallah, from the awliya Allah Ta'ala, But even with his knowledge and, that he can still have these, that we can still carry around these traits from Jahiliyyah, that we still have. I mean, imagine, this is a Sahabi, Jalil, one of the best of the Sahaba, right? And this occurred from him. So what about us? Where it's we grew up with nothing but traits of Jahiliyyah. Our whole lives have been nothing but Jahiliyyah. So with us, it's about trying to get those traits out. But if you look at Abu Dhar and the statement of the Prophet ﷺ, what do you see? You see immediately what? The Prophet ﷺ pointed out that you have a trait of the traits of Jahiliyyah. What did Abu Dhar do? Did he fix it or no? He fixed it, right? You see this, right? He went and he fixed it. You know, he didn't insult him ever again. Khalas. And he made sure that, like, he treated him with the utmost respect, gave him, you know, the same clothing that he wore. And this is like the way that he was even doing the clothing was not wajib upon him. And, you know, as we're going to see later on in a later hadith, is that the kiswa, you know, the clothing of the servants is what? Bil ma'ruf. Bil ma'ruf, it means what? Bil ma'ruf, it means based on your means. You know, if you have a lot of money, you clothe them in better clothing. You don't have a lot of money, but you gotta, you know, your responsibility is to clothe them. But however, it's based on the means that you have. But Abu Dhar, he shared with him the same thing. He took one old garment, one new garment, and gave him one old garment and one new garment. He could have given the servant both old garments and fulfilled his obligation because he clothed him, right? But he didn't do that. So you see that, you know, after the Prophet ﷺ said this to him, that he corrected it. And this is what the Sahaba, this is what makes them the greatest of people after the prophets. You see that the Sahaba, as soon as they know something, if they make a mistake, they're quick to fix it. They don't sit around and try to justify their actions, and they don't, you don't hear any argument from him. The Prophet ﷺ told him this, and he fixed it. You don't hear Abu Dhar saying anything else, right? Except for explaining the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. Because once that command comes down, they do it. You know, they're swift in fixing whatever mistakes they make. And that's what made them the best of all mankind, you know, after the Prophet. So, you know, you got to look at, you know, this is the same type of behavior that we have to take on. Because Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, Imam, An-Najdi, rahimahullah, he wrote a book, it's called Masail al-Jahiliyyah, which is a metin. It's a small little, metin, it's a small little book. It's like memorizable. And he brings all the points of Jahiliyyah that Islam came to do away with. You know, so I advise people, I'm pretty sure you can get this book in English, but I advise the people to get that book, read the explanations of the ulama for that book. I do plan on going over it, but not like, because like right now we're doing too much right now with Kitab Tawheed, with Sharia, with Bulugh al-Maram, with this. But it was my plan to go over it. But I left all the books in Jacksonville. So
what was it called? You know what it was called?
Masail, which is like I don't know how they would translate it. Masail al-Jahiliyyah. But when Sajid, he just sent me like 4 boxes of books just recently, the last week. Those matun of Masail al-Jahiliyyah, they were in it with the explanation of Sheikh Salih Fawzan. So now I want to do it now. But we have to finish up some of the stuff that we're doing first. But we will go over that book, inshallah. But for now, I advise everybody to go over that book themselves. Read through it and look at all the points. I mean, if you just read, like I sat down and read the first 25 with my son, and then we traveled, so we didn't get to finish it. But the first 25 points, I just said, subhanAllah, that's every Muslim in America right there. The first 25 points. So like I said, we didn't finish the rest, you know, because like I said, we traveled. And then we left those books in Jacksonville, we didn't have them, so. But inshallah, we'll once we get a lighter load, a lighter schedule, inshallah, we'll do that, inshallah. So that's the only hadith that we're going to read today, inshallah. There's a different hadith that has nothing to do with the class today, but it was because I was just reading in Sunan Abi Dawood, and this was one of those weird occasions, and I was like, wow, because we keep talking about, you know, which one is it, Sufyan al-Thawri, Sufyan ibn Uyayna, you know, we keep having this, and then I read this hadith today as I was reading Sunan Abi Dawood. So if anybody wants to check this hadith, it's number 448. 448 in Sunan Abi Dawood. It said, Hadathana Muhammad ibn al-Sabbah ibn Sufyan. Watch this now. This is where it gets cool, right? You ready? Akhbarana Sufyan ibn Uyayna and Sufyan al-Thawri. Ain't that cool? You catch the narration. Sufyan ibn Uyayna narrated this hadith from Sufyan al-Thawri. Yeah, cool chain of narration, huh? So there you got both of the Sufyans in one chain. He said, أخبرنا سفيان بن عيينة عن سفيان الثوري عن أبي فزارة عن يزيد بن الأصم عن ابن عباس رضي الله عنهما قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ما أمرت بتشييد المساجد. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying that he was not commanded to do like this, to build up and decorate the masjids. We make the masjids as a place for salat, for ta'aleem, memorization of the Quran. There's no need for, to make it all huge and elaborate and decorated and marble floors and, and gold pillars and, like all this type of like thing. He said, "Ma umirtu bi tashyid al-masajid." Qala Ibn Abbas, la tuzakhrifunnaha kama zakhrafat al-yahud wa nasara. So then Ibn Abbas, after he mentioned the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, said, "La tuzakhrifunnaha," that you guys are going to adorn the masajid, that you're going to do this with the masajid, just like the Jews and the Christians before you did. So this is the hadith. Like I said, it has nothing to do with our dars. I just wrote that down because of Sufyan ibn Uyayna narrating that hadith from Sufyan al-Thawri. Yeah, it's cool. Don't get to see that much, do you? I can't fix the sequence of because I saw your comment about that, Akhi, about the playlist. The playlist is according to, sometimes we upload the video and we don't put it in the playlist, on accident. And then when you put it into the playlist, it's going to go to the first video. Even if it's the first, it doesn't matter. So it's just, the numbering is the number. Like, if I want to do that, then I'd have to take every single video out of the playlist and then put it back into the playlist, which might be that's not a major issue with something like Kitab al-Tawheed. You see, Kitab al-Tawheed, all of them, it's based on when we upload the video, whatever we upload today is going to be the very first video in the playlist, or no, that should be the last video, right? So, I could probably fix Kitab al-Tawheed, but the other ones I can't fix them, because like I said, it's just a matter of when we put it in the playlist. So Allahumma salli, it's not about the numbering. Ahmed Fareed said, "Assalamu alaikum from Toronto, Canada." Wa alaikum salam from Fresno, California. Hamid Jamal said, "One of the brothers I know asked me, I get groceries for my family a lot of times, but they mostly give me a credit card to buy stuff and not debit or cash. I don't deal with agreeing to pay interest. My family deals with it. Is it permissible to use it to buy our stuff with that card? No. Because again, if it's a ta'awun ala al-ithmi wal udwan. Tell them to give you cash or give you a different card that doesn't have interest on it." Is saying uff and just generally showing discomfort and displeasure to parents haram to do when you are away from them? Yeah, because it's general. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَلَا تَكُلْ لَهُمَّ أُفٍّ. So he didn't say it in their presence. He said don't say it to them, period. So whether they're in your presence or not, maybe you're talking to them or they sent you a message, you're like uff, uff, uff. You're still showing displeasure to them. You shouldn't do that. Still refrain from that. Because even when you're doing it outside of their presence, you still, how can I say this? You're making it a habit of doing it. So you'll end up doing it in their presence, even if you're not trying to. So no. He said, where is the proof from the Quran and the Sunnah? The individual takfir is left only to the scholars. فَصَلُوا عَلَى ذِكْرِ إِن كُنتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. That's an issue that you go back to the ulama for. Hope everyone is doing well, inshallah. Ustad, do you know about this hadith or something when the Prophet was asked what's the difference between worshiper and a scholar, and then it's like me and the worst of the companions? Now you have to give it to me in Arabic, akhi. يا أيها الذين آمنوا أطيعوا الله وأطيعوا الرسول وأولي الأمر منكم. This is for Ahmed about what the is that about? You talking about the thing? Yeah, they're not lazy like us. Are we going to take Bulugh Maram tonight? Inshallah, that answers your questions. Said, Ustad, how long did you study Bulugh Maram for? We studied Bukhari and Muslim. So if you studied Bulugh Maram, you just studied it because you wanted to study it. But I mean, and generally it took about, say, it depends on the teacher, but you know, I mean, you're looking like basically from a year maybe. Like I said, it depends on the teacher. A lot of the students, they're probably teaching in like 250, 260 lessons. You know, because they just like, it depends. I mean, if they're gonna go through it and just basically give you just the basics of everything, or if they're gonna really explain it and whatnot. So it depends. Ahmed Farid, is he asking about the Hadith and Sunan Abi Dawood? If I didn't say it's not authentic, then it's authentic, right? So inshallah, it's not authentic, I say something. Sierra Leone said, you can fix the playlist, you can move the videos, I do it. Yeah, inshallah, I'll figure out how to do it, inshallah. I'm pretty sure I just gotta go to like edit the playlist or something and figure it out, inshallah. All right, he said, I had a different question in mind, if there's an answer for it. Where do we source rules of recitation and Tajweed from exactly? This is from At-Tatabbu' wal-Istiqra'. You know, like, it's just like Nahu, it's like all of these types of things in the Arabic language. It all goes back to At-Tatabbu' wal-Istiqra'. That means that the people, they went through the language, and they, and this is what they saw, and they formulated these principles based on going through the language and looking at it. So the same thing with the recitation. The people. Just drop it off there. Boy, that's cold. And you have people, the Sahaba that took the recitation from the Prophet, and then you had the Tabi'un that took the recitation from the Sahaba, and there, and then there was a certain way that you see through each one. There's certain rules that they all applied when they were reciting, like the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So eventually they took those rules and they put them down into what you now know as Tajweed. And like I said, all of this goes back to the Arabic language, and everything in the Arabic language, it all goes back to a Tatabbu' wal-Istiqra'. The Nahu, the vocabulary, the Tajweed, and the Makharij and everything. It just like goes back to this is the way that the Arab said it, and the people went through the Arabic language and they said, okay, these are the rules that that we have in these sciences, and that's how they formulated those sciences. Hamid Jamal said, I found it in Jami' Tirmidhi. Yeah, probably. I wouldn't doubt it. Said, is it haram to say Allah gave a fatwa? I don't know. I've never heard that before. But no, it's in Surah An-Nisa. Give me the Mus'haf. Please. Please. It's right at the end of Surah An-Nisa. يا الله يفتيكم في الكلالة إن امرؤ هلك وليس له ولد. Yeah. So yeah, it is possible. It is permissible to say that. But I mean, in this case, where it comes from the Quran. So I'll show you the ayat. Inshallah, you can go to the ayat yourself. Should be right at the end of Surah An-Nisa. It's in page 106 of the Mus'haf. It's in the last ayah of Surah An-Nisa. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, يَسْتَفْتُونَكَ قُلِ اللَّهُ يُفْتِيكُمْ فِي الْكَلَالَةِ. And the kalala is what? What does kalala mean? Kalala is the man that he's nobody inherits. He dies and nobody inherits. There's nobody to inherit from him. Like he has no children, he has no father, he has like none of those immediates. He has no wife, no children. His parents, no parents. So who's gonna inherit from him? I mean, all the people that would immediately inherit from him, he doesn't have them. Said, is it halal to keep a dog as long as they are in a room that's not attached to human living quarters, bedroom, kitchen? No, it cannot be in the house. It has to be outside. And it can only be with the purpose of a guard dog or a hunting dog. Use it like a dog to protect. Like, for example, you have a farm or chickens or something like that, and you use the dog to protect that. Or if you live in a very bad neighborhood full of crackhead thieves and meth heads, then maybe you get a dog to protect your property. But the dog stays outside. It's not allowed to go in the house. Every time that you have the dog without that purpose, for every day that you keep that dog, you lose how much of the reward? You lose 1 qirat from your ajr. Every day you keep a dog for no benefit, for not having one of those purposes for having a dog. Y'all gotta forgive me, man. I'm like slow today, boy. And they're bringing back tacos again. I think we ate those tacos like 3 days in a row, man. Because they made them that last night in the class. Then last night, Hamza brought them to the house. And by the way, inshallah, just to let everybody know, we're going to take off. If we don't do the live stream at night, it's going to be either like Sunday or Monday. Because it's after the weekend, I'm just so tired, man. Like, because Thursday, Friday, Saturday, it's just so much. I don't get the rest, because those are like the busiest days, especially Friday. Like, there's no rest. And then, I sit there all Friday, I don't eat until 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And then just running around. So we're normally going to take the day off, like, just after the weekend. We're not going to do Thursdays anymore. Because Thursdays, that's easy.
We are going to do class Thursday? Or
yeah,
no?
We've been doing class on Thursday.
Yeah.
Well, when we take the day off, like, it'll probably be like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, somewhere around there.
Early in the week. Earlier.
Yeah, somewhere I can get like rest for before all the craziness begins. One last question, might be controversial. What's the ruling on saying Allah is physical? To explain that the literality of his attributes and actions is to be affirmed, such as his putting his foot. If you don't find that in the Quran and the Sunnah, then that's that. You don't say it. We only say what we have knowledge about. That's it. Now that one class where we talked about does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have a surah? Khalas, because that's thabit to lillah. Surah is thabit. But other than that, we only mention what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned about himself or what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned about him. So if you know something about saying that he's like the physical, you bring it, inshallah. Bring the evidence. If the evidence is authentic, we accept it. How does a student of knowledge continue to progress and have passion, zeal, and enthusiasm when seeking knowledge? For example, a brother hit a plateau and wants to overcome it. If he just that's obedience to Allah. If you have ikhlas, yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, put those things in your chest. If you don't have them, then fix yourself. We all gotta fix ourselves. If you start to lose that lidha, that sweet taste of seeking knowledge, that's because of sins. That's because of sins. And it's either sins or not being sincere or whatever. But as long as a person's sincere, he's a person of taqwa. That type of person, he doesn't want anything but to continue learning this deen. Like nothing else matters more than that. So that's from Allah. That's not from us. It's from us as far as our actions, and like we have to obey Allah. But that being in the chest and the tawfiq is all from Allah. Do you know any of the students of Shaykh Al-Albani? No. I've never met any of them. Alright, how does a person cure the various diseases of the heart like envy, anger, lust, desires, arrogance? Same thing. All that envy, anger, lust, desires, all that stuff is because you're too attached to the dunya. And you're too concerned about the dunya. And everything's about something that's personal or dunya. It's not about deen. It's not about ikhlas. So you gotta go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in obedience. Stand up at night and pray and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to remove that stuff from your heart. Only Allah can remove it from your heart, nobody else. Muhammad Fatima said the kids was going to bring you ice cream. We don't want no ice cream. And the brother right now is bringing tacos again, which is good. Mashallah, the food is good. But I'm like, look, man, if I eat one more taco and drink one more jarritos, how do you say that, man? Orange Mexican cola. I can't take it no more. Alright, said on Telegram. What you mean on Telegram? I gotta find out. Oh, he said make the students memorize a hadith a day. I do. It's called daily hadith, Hamid. What we're doing now, because the problem is a lot of the issues with the recording the lessons in the afternoon is because I'm trying to write this book on marriage. Then I have to do research for this Bulugh al-Maram and research for Sharia, research for Adab and Mufrad. Well, sometimes just to make sure that I tell you guys, because somebody's going to say, which one is this, Sufyan al-Thawri or Sufyan? I could just be like everybody else and just say, Hadathana Sufyan. And just pretend, no, man, I have to go through like Tahdhib al-Kamal and read through all of his shuyukh to make sure that I'm getting the right Sufyan right. That stuff takes time, man. So what we did, and plus because even the Bukhari, the class in the morning, and most of the time, when I say most of the times, I mean like 9 days out of 10, I'm up at like 3 o'clock in the morning reading Fath al-Bari, getting ready just to go teach them for 10 minutes. Most of the classes in Bukhari, like 10 minutes? Yeah, I sit there and read for like 30, 40 minutes just to teach them for 10 minutes. So, that's just the reality. So, what we decided to do and what we started to do today is before we start the live stream, we record one of the daily hadith lessons. So, this way that we can make sure that we get the daily hadith done every day. So, that's your hadith every day for memorization, inshallah. Tayyib. That's your hadith every day for memorization. Ahmed Fareed said, do you consider to collab with Ustad Abu Fajr from Masjid Istiqamah in Toronto, Canada? All this collabing stuff, I don't know what this stuff is, akhi. Abu Fajr is from one of the very, very good brothers, from the brothers that benefited in his time with Damaj. And from Ahl Sunnah, we have what you call a tazawwur. And inshallah, when I get the opportunity to go up to Toronto and visit the brother, I'll visit him. It's just like we've been tied down so much, and he's invited me up there, and Allah yubarak fihi. Like I said, he's a very good brother, and he made the offer, but it was just we were so busy coming out here to Fresno when he offered, so we weren't able to go up there to visit. But no doubt, inshallah. Like I said, I'd love to go visit the brothers, inshallah. Like I said, Ahl Sunnah, it's not about collabing, it's about, a tazawwur, and like visiting each other, and, just so we can increase that's what increases that love that we have for one another and that brotherhood, is by visiting each other and staying in contact with each other. So, inshallah, whenever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it easy. Instead, you got to visit New York. Y'all got to clean that city up first, man. A long time. New York. I come from Florida, man. I'm used to clean ghettos, man. Right? Yeah. So you got to read Fath al-Bari every morning. After Kitab al-Tawheed, do you plan on making this series for... Yeah, akhi. Wallahi, just for you, inshallah, we have to do it. Lum'a al-I'tiqad, inshallah, just for you. Because you have been asking for that dars for at least probably a year and a half now. So inshallah, just for you, akhi. Just for you. Right now, inshallah, let's get the Bulugh al-Maram. And we'll finish up the questions afterwards, inshallah. Now I realize what's wrong with these rooms. It's not that it's hot in here. It's not hot. It's just stuffy, right? It's like, yeah.
No ventilation really.
Yeah, there's no ventilation. That's what it is, because it's just it's the same thing upstairs. It's just like you're locked into a box. When we open the window, open up those doors in the morning, it's nice upstairs. It just needs to be aired out. That's all. We need windows or something just. Alright, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. We are on Hadith number 1040, not 1000, 1044, 1045 in our books. I don't know what books you guys got.
This one actually is from the mosque.
Is it what's the print? Dar es Salaam. Well, this is Dar es Salaam, but this is the newer one though. That's the. Check it.
I don't think I think probably when the war started this year, I think they stopped printing these up.
Because
you said
in our book it's 1044.
What was the last one we took on how it was obligatory?
The last hadith that we took, either if in sha'a ta'im wa in sha'a tarak. From the hadith, whoever wants to eat, he can eat, and whoever doesn't want to eat, he doesn't have to eat. When we talked about the last issue that we dealt with was going to the walima and eating the food is not obligatory. It's not obligatory. All right. That's the hadith of Jabir. You found it?
Yeah.
You got it? Jabir is the last hadith that we took. It's a short hadith. He said, وَلَهُ مِنْ حَدِيثِ جَابِرَ نَحْوُ قَالَ فَإِنْ شَاءَ طَعِمْ وَإِنْ شَاءَ تَرَكْ. You got it?
Yeah.
You found it. We're on the hadith after that. Alright, so Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. قال الحافظ بن حجر رحمه الله وعن ابن مسعود رضي الله عنه قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم طعام الوليمة أول يوم حق وطعام يوم الثاني سنة وطعام يوم الثالث سمعة. And this might not be in everybody's. This is in our book, but this is not from the hadith. He said after this, he said, وَمَنْ سَمَّعَ اللَّهُ بِهِ. This is a separate hadith. It has nothing to do with this hadith. And they said that the reason why it got put in, you have that?
Yeah.
But it's not supposed to be there. This was something that somebody put in from some of the makhtutat, from the handwritten manuscripts. But this hadith is from Sahih Muslim and has nothing to do with this hadith here. This hadith ends طعام الوليمة أول يوم حق وطعام يوم الثاني سنة وطعام يوم الثالث سمع. That's the hadith. Cut it. Alright. So here Ibn Mas'ud he said the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the food of the walima on the first day is the rights of is haq. It means what? Is the rights of the people. This is their rights. For whoever showed up, it's their right to be what? To be fed, right? He said, وَطَعَامُ يَوْمِ الثَّانِي sunnah. And he said, and if you feed them on the second day, then it's what? It's sunnah. Alright, that means like it's an extra ajr. وَطَعَامُ يَوْمِ الثَّالِث سُمْعَ. And the food for the third day is just showing off so the people can say, oh, look at him, he's so generous, he gives food. And so this hadith is da'if. Alright. Rawahu Tirmidhi wastaghrabahu. Even he said wastaghrabahu. وَرِجَالُهُ رِجَالُ الصَّحِيح. No, and that's not correct. رِجَالُهُ لَيْسَ رِجَالُهُ الصَّحِيح. And the chain of narration, I got here. The chain of narration, it goes through a person named, alright, it says, أخرجه الترمذي من طريق زياد ibn Abdullah al-Bukai and Ata. And he, alright, so there's two problems with this hadith, right? So Ziyad ibn Abdullah, he narrated this hadith on Ata. But he narrated the hadith on Ata after Ata started to, اختلط في آخر عمره. Like when he got older, he started to mix things up a lot. And this is when Ziyad narrated the hadith from him. So anything that's narrated from Ata at that age, when his mind started to, it's not accepted. It's not accepted. That's number one. And Ziyad ibn Abdullah himself is da'if. So it's said about Ziyad ibn Abdullah, kathir al-gharaib wal-manakir. Alright, so he narrates real strange hadiths and manakir, like a hadith that are just rejected outright. Like as soon as you hear it, you're like, nah, that's da'if. Like it's rejected. And it's also said about him, he said, وَقِيلَ عَنْهُ زِيَادَ بن عبد الله مع شرفه يكذب في الحديث. But they said this about him, they said with his sharaf, like with, he's a very honorable person, but he yakdhib fil hadith. Now, yakdhib does not always mean that he tells a lie. So you have to understand this. Al-kadhib fil lughat al-Arab, khasatan fil lughat al-Hijaz, it can also mean what? Huh? No, akhta. It means that he makes mistakes. Like if you come up to me and say, I heard the hadith kada wa kada and akul kadabt. Alright, it doesn't mean that that you made up a lie against the Prophet. It means that what? If I'm saying it, fi hadi lugha kadabt, it means what? Anta akhtat, that you made a mistake. He was not from the kadabin. So he didn't used to make up hadith. So this is probably what they meant was that but the issue is khalas, the hadith is da'if. Now as far as the second part of the hadith, the part of the hadith that's not supposed to be here, that hadith is authentic. That hadith is on Jundub al-Alaqi رضي الله عنه قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من يسمع الله به ومن يرائي الله به. Alright, so this hadith is authentic. And what is the meaning of this hadith? There's two different understandings about man yusammi'. Alright, so one understanding is man yusammi', it means whoever does like good actions just so the people can speak about him. Yusammi' Allahu bi, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make an example for him, that he will expose all of the real sins of this person to the people, that the people, just like they praise him for the good actions that he was pretending to do just so he could get the praise, that Allah will expose the things that he hides from the people, so the people will talk about what? About his bad actions, and everybody will hear about his bad actions. Some of the ulama say that the meaning of the hadith is that if you go out and point out other people's faults, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will expose your faults to the people. That's another understanding of the hadith. And both of them fall into the meaning. And then he said after that, he said, وَمَنْ يُرَائِ اللَّهُ what? Bihi. What does that mean, yura'i? Yura'i, it means to show off. Whoever wants to show off, for the people to show like, hey, look at me, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will also make an example from. Just like you like to show off in front of the people, Allah will expose those same actions in front of the people to where they will see all the bad of that person. You know, so that's a very serious hadith. That hadith is authentic. That hadith is authentic, no doubt. All right. It's in Sahih Muslim. It might be in Sahih Bukhari also. I'm not sure. All right, but it is for sure. I wrote it out of Sahih Muslim, so yeah.
All right.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Where's Taco Bell at, man?
Taco Bell, taco.
Where are the tacos?
You want them inside? It's gonna stink the whole place up if I bring them. And you don't want that in the mission. It's gonna really stink in here if I bring them.
What did you do? Put like dirty socks in the tacos?
No, the thing smells. Like it doesn't smell bad. It's just the smell is
Very
so good,
strong.
but it's super strong. It's gonna make the entire room smell like tacos.
Well, I'm pretty sure your whole car smells like tacos.
Oh no, it does. It does.
All right, so we'll finish the class, then we'll go for the tacos. Inshallah. All right, so that hadith again is da'if. So now, what's the hukm now about having? All right, so this hadith it speaks about people having a walima different days. So then, what's the ruling if this hadith is not authentic? What if he has a walima for 2 days, 3 days? It's mubah. I mean, if you want to do it, you can do it. Maybe there's a lot of people that he wants to invite, but he doesn't have the space, so he has one day for a certain amount of people, another day for a certain number of people. Maybe he does, one celebration when they do the contract, one celebration once he takes his wife home, one celebration, whatever, however, but there's nothing that prevents it. But the person should not get involved in doing things just to show off. If there's a reason for it. Like I said, maybe the space is small and there's a lot of people. So maybe he wants to do one day just for his family, where he just brings his family and he relaxes with his family. Second day, maybe he invites his friends, but he's not doing this to show off. It's just, just to make easy, Maybe he doesn't want his friends mixing with his family. Who knows? Maybe he's got a crazy family. Who knows? But whatever the case may be, if there's a reason for it, then there's no issue. As long as the person's not doing it to show off. Just to say, oh, look at me, look at, I got all this money, I can sit here and party for 4 days straight or whatever, and feed you a cow every day. So no, as long as it's not for that purpose. All right, so now, hadith number 1046, the hadith after it. عن صفية بنت شيبة قالت أولم النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم على بعض نسائه بمدين من شعير أخرجه البخاري. So this is the last hadith that we'll take, inshallah. So this hadith shows that what? The Safiyah bint Shayba said that the Prophet ﷺ, he celebrated his walima with some of his women bi muddain min sha'ir. What is muddain? Yeah, 2 times. All right. So I mean that's just to go to show you that he celebrated the marriage with what was in his means. He didn't have sheep. He wasn't able to slaughter, so he gave the people what he was able to give. Whether it's dates, milk or whatever it was that was in his means. He called the people together to celebrate that marriage. So the person he does whatever. The person that is not. It's not upon you to go and do all this type of taklif. Burden yourself and trying to have this huge wedding. It's not within your means. You just do what you have within your means. Because a lot of people, they go into debt, just because of a wedding. In fact, I wouldn't say a lot of people. I would say the majority of the people that get married right now in the Arab world, they start their marriage off in debt.
In sin.
Huh?
In sin.
In sin and debt. So it's crazy. So, you just do what, Mati Yasser. Because it's already bad enough, like the type of dowries that the people have to pay. SubhanAllah. I mean, it's like you got a choice, man. You get married in Saudi or you buy a Lamborghini. Which one do you want? Exactly. Actually, yeah. If I have a choice between getting married in Saudi Arabia,
no, Saudi Arabia.
Saudi
Arabia.
I would not marry a woman from Saudi Arabia ever, man. No.
Just a passport.
Huh?
Wait till you get a passport.
You won't get a passport. Well,
Saudi citizen?
You're not gonna become no Saudi citizen just because you married a girl. They don't just hand out citizenships like that anymore, man. No. And maybe if you're like, a billionaire and you married a Saudi girl, you could probably get citizenship. But no, those days are done, actually. And even back in the past, they only handed out the citizenship to people that were like really beneficial. So if like you were like real strong, like Imam Shankiti, rahimahullah, they looked at him like this super knowledgeable guy, give him the citizenship and keep him here in the country so he can teach the people. So they did that. They gave him citizenship. Sheikh Muhammad ibn Adam of Ethiopia, if I'm not mistaken, they also gave him citizenship, but they didn't give it to him, I think, right away. It was over time. So
Malik says, I'll take a Lamborghini.
I'll take the Lamborghini, but I'm going to sell it, and I'm going to buy books with it. And I'm not going to drive no Lamborghini. You'll never see me driving on the street no Lamborghini, no.
I'll just take that money and go to Yemen. Take that money and go to Yemen.
If I start driving down the street in a Lamborghini, you start calling me Dawah man.
Oh, the YouTuber.
Oh my God. I don't know, man. I'll sell the Lamborghini and in fact, I just won't get the Lamborghini. I just go straight for the books. Well, the books keep me happy. Women make you smile one day and make you punch a wall the next day. So no,
What's that?
Safe.
Say, Fallah.
Hamid said, I remember my question. I can't find it though. Is it permissible for a woman to give a book to a non-mahram man if he needed it, but through her mahram because she wants to get the reward for it? And is it permissible? If you can, let me read that question again. Is it permissible for a woman to give a book to a non-mahram man if he needed it, but through her mahram? Yeah, I mean, look, as long as there's no fitna, and as long as the girls, they don't, because a lot of girls, that they do, they put draw flowers all in their books and put notes and little pink smiley faces and stuff like that.
Hijab journey.
Yeah, as long as there's nothing like that in the book and no fitna, it's not an issue. But yeah, man, you don't want,
A little note.
you don't want that, man. That ain't gonna be good, man. And dude gets the book and all these flowers and. Still, even though I'm in an Islamic school, they spoke about this early humans crap about Homo sapiens. Does this have any basis? What are you talking about? Early humans crap. Of course, it has no basis. Nothing that these kuffar teach you in school has any basis. Their whole basis is to get you to leave the deen and get far away from the deen. Along with Stein.
Did you read the question?
What's that?
I think it got erased, but I was at work when I was watching it. It said, what is the evidence from the Quran and Sunnah that takfir is only for the ulama?
You said it.
Oh, yeah, I didn't have to.
Yeah.
I wasn't here when you said it.
Instead, the first woman you marry is the books, and she's the second wife. Nah, she's the fourth. The first three wives are the books. She gets, yeah. She's the last one. Yeah, that. SubhanAllah. That was the biggest complaint of my family all the time.
What books?
You and your books. You and your books. Because I take all the books, because I do the research in the room. So there's literally on my side of the bed, there's this wall of, there's a stack of books. Separate. You stay over there, lakum dinakum waliya deen, man. And I'm over here with notebooks and books. No. You and your books. You and your books.
If you don't mind me asking, who is the sharih of that book you gave me?
Who?
The sharih.
Sheikh Abdullah Ali Bassam. Ali Bassam.
Who is he?
It's a sheikh from Saudi.
From where?
From Saudi.
Saudi. Is he Adam?
He's dead. Allah yarhamu. He died years back.
Is he a scholar?
Yeah, of course he's a scholar. He wrote that book, didn't
I don't know. I'm just saying because I took the book because it came from you, but it came from someone else. So we're like, hey, I'm not taking it because I don't know who he is.
he? You don't know who he is. That's your problem. That's not his problem.
Because I just haven't. No, I'm not saying it's his problem. I'm just
Everybody knows Sheikh Abdullah Ali Bassam is. Everybody knows. That's your problem.
saying- I mean, I've heard you mention before, but
I told you. I mentioned him to you before.
I
I
forgot.
said he's got the best. I said if you want to start off with an explanation of Bulugh al-Maram, I said get Tawdih al-Ahkam, which is the Sharh of Sheikh Abdullah Ali Bassam.
I thought it was Salam.
No, Subul al-Salam is not for a starter. That's Sanani. But the Sheikh Abdullah, he breaks down every single word in the Hadith. Yeah. Any other questions before we go? I keep like reading Abdul Malik, but I don't know what you're responding back to.
I seen his truck and his car outside.
How does one increase in hifth and general own preservation if your memory is not the best? You gotta do the most with what you got, akhi. You know, not everybody's gonna be like having some memory like a Shankiti. You're just gonna have to do the best with what you got. But like make sure that you die and you like, you know, you push your memory to the breaking point. You know what I'm saying? Like you got everything out of it, but you just have to. But you don't know how much you can do until you do it. You just sit around and say, "Oh, my memory's not strong. Oh, my memory's not strong." You don't know. You don't know until you push yourself. You gotta push yourself. You gotta push yourself to the point of like almost killing yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how much you have to push. You know, like, make sure that when you die, like nothing's left. You know, that you know like how much you know what you could get. Don't just sit around saying I got a bad memory. I got a bad memory. You got to get out there and work. Instead, what advice would you give brothers that want to reconcile between seeking knowledge, marriage, and earning a lawful living?
Subhanallah.
You're just gonna have to balance, akhi. You know, it's like when you're just doing knowledge, it's easy to juggle one thing, right? And you throw a wife into it, and now you know what I'm saying. Now you throw a job into it, or actually the job has to come first because the job is what you get the wife with, right? So it's just, and then you throw kids into it, and the more you throw into it, it's a juggling act, actually. But you just, you just gotta organize your time.
So you say it's better to stay single.
I'm not saying that. I'm not a fan of being single. You know, I love knowledge. But I don't love it to the point where I'm gonna leave a wife and like not get married for it. No, no. That's not. I'm not on that. No. Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, he did that for a purpose. He wasn't because he was mostly in battle and in prison. You know, so he had like a lot going on. I don't think it's just because he didn't want to get married.
No.
Yeah. And Imam Nawawi died young though.
He died in his 40s though.
Yeah, that's young.
Well, he didn't.
Imam Ahmed didn't even get married until his 40s. So, a lot of the ulama, they would postpone the marriage because they're out seeking knowledge of hadith. How are they going to get married? How are you going to get married when you're traveling 6 months, to go, you're going from like Iraq all the way down to Yemen and sitting in Yemen for like a year, then you go to Mecca, then you go back to Iraq, and then you hear that there's another sheikh, in Syria, so you go to, how you gonna get married like that? So no, they used to get married when they finished seeking knowledge. But us, with our situation now, I mean, you look, it's a balancing act, definitely.
The hair's coming in. So the hair is coming in.
Said the fourth will be jealous of the time you spend with the books. Who cares? You tell her she should be happy. She's jealous of books. Other women are jealous because he's running around with fulana and fulana and fulana. You're just mad about books. You got it easy. She's got a good life. She should be happy. She wants to complain about that. She can go marry one of these like pimps and players and then have something to complain about.
Well, Belmont's always open.
Huh?
The Belmont's always open.
Sierra Leone, that's what he's talking about. He's asking me about Taysir al-Alam. As I gave him to Taysir al-Alam and he doesn't know what the book is. Shame. Alright, he said, how can we have self-discipline specifically in learning the deen if they never had that and are around people in their family who don't have it? Because it's easy. Self-discipline is just you making yourself do things that you don't want to do, but making yourself do them when you know that you have to do something, you make yourself do it even though you don't want to do it. That's it. It's developed. It's not like, if it's something that you're raised with, alhamdulillah, it's a ni'mah. It's not something that you're raised with, then khalas. Like some people, they can't do anything except for somebody forces them to do it, makes them do it. You're not going to be successful in this deen if you're that type of person. Because you're just not going to have people around you telling you what you got to do all the time, especially when you get grown. You need to start developing that soon, like ASAP. The most important thing in anything to be successful in anything is self-discipline. You don't have that, you're just going to khalas. You look at the life of every loser, and what do you see?
Oversleeping.
You see no self-discipline, period. I feel like doing it today, I'm going to do it. I feel like being lazy today and relaxing, I'm going to, nah. A person with self-discipline, man, get up out of bed, get it done. Get it done. You have to do that on your own. You have to develop that in yourself. And that doesn't matter. We live in a whole society of people with no self-discipline. So that's something that you have to develop. But I'm telling you, you develop that in yourself. And you make yourself do those things that you don't want to do but you know you have to do them. Watch what happens. Like, you see you and your friends, you're like this, right? And then you start doing that self-discipline, and then you start moving like this.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If they even move forward, let's just say they move a little forward, but you're like this, and before long, khalas, you can't even associate with these people no more. You can't even look at them because it's like, man, it's not to be disrespectful, but I mean, a loser's a loser. And the people that have that type of mentality of enjoyment, well, they suck you into that life, man. They make you lazy. So the best thing to do is get away from people like that. Read the book, read stories of the Salaf, because if you really want, people that were self-disciplined, people that got things done, you read their lives. Don't look at the people nowadays. The people nowadays, you look at the people nowadays. If you do like just the most minuscule of something every single day, they look at you like, mashallah, look at you, you're super righteous. Yeah, come on, man. No, don't look at the people nowadays. Look at the people of the past and compare yourself to them. And that's going to make you want to get up out of bed and do the things that you got to do because these are the people that are going to Jannah, inshallah, and you want to be a part of them. And you're competing to become from those 70,000 that enter into Jannah with no hisab and no adab, no account and no punishment. And you got some strong competition. You're not going to get in that. You're not going to be a part of that competition, sleeping at night, sleeping at the Fajr, not reading the Quran, not doing the things that you have to do. Do Arab men marry westernized black women? If so, are they willing to lead us because some of us want to submit? I mean, I've seen a lot of the sisters go overseas and get married to Yemenis. I don't know about westernized, though. It doesn't matter what color the woman is. A westernized woman is not a good woman, period. Black, white, green, yellow, Chinese, whatever she is. If she's westernized, then it's game over anyways. You're talking about a Muslim woman who wants to practice his deen and learn her deen. It doesn't matter what race she is. If she's trying to be on this deen, khalas, that's what it's about. But she's westernized, and forget it. That's a divorce in the making. Because he's going to try to because if you get married overseas, especially like in Yemen, Yemenis are strong about their culture. You come and bring that Western culture into that's a recipe for destruction, man. That's a recipe for destruction. That's a divorce in the waiting. Yes, I read Amber's question. That was, can you read?
Who was Amber?
I don't know. But she said, Muhammad Fatima said, can you read Amber's question,
yeah.
please?
Oh, yeah, okay. That's all you have to say. Fatima would say something like that. Can I get oh, God.
Ahmed Fareed said, I want to stay and die single. I'm not with you on that one, man.
What was the question?
He said, I want to stay and die single.
I think he meant I want to study and dicing. I think that's what he meant because he said that when we were talking about studying.
Probably. What about the men who marry and be gone like that seeking knowledge? What's to be said about it? What about the men who marry and they leave their families or what? You gotta explain that question. Not the pimps and players.
There's no such thing as a good westernized. Because westernized.
There's no good westernized person, period. Whether it's a man or a woman, doesn't matter. A westernized man is just as stupid as a westernized woman.
No, because they said, what if they are westernized, but they are good westernized?
There's no such thing as a good westernized person. Yo, this is westernized. That you look at all the garbage that we've been taught our whole lives and the things that we've been raised up on. The type of mentality that's been developed in us is the worst type of mentality on the face of this earth.
Westernized, the MSA at present state. They're the westernized.
No, they're the wannabe.
Yeah, they're wannabes.
Thomas said that too.
Instead, in the book, you should mention marrying someone who is also like you as a person and not someone who doesn't know your situation, that you're a student of knowledge and you want to be a... let me try to understand this now. Instead, in the book, you should mention marrying someone who is also like you as a person and not someone who doesn't know your situation. I mean, obviously, you know, but see, the thing is most women, they don't understand that. When you say, oh, you know, I'm going to go seek knowledge and all that, they don't understand what that means. See, you have to really, really explain that to the women. It's like, I'm going to go seek knowledge and you're going to suffer a lot. You know what I'm saying? Are you ready to be patient? You know? And then you got to make sure that she understands that, because most women, if you just say, I'm going to go seek knowledge, oh, that's good. Knowledge is good. But she doesn't understand what you mean by that, which means that she's more than likely going to be having to be living in situations that are not the most ideal situations that she, you know, maybe she's not, you know, daydreaming about, right? As a, you know, her ideal marriage is not sitting out in the desert killing scorpions in a house that has no electricity that's made out of mud. That's probably not, you know, what she was dreaming about when she was playing with Barbie dolls as a kid, right? So you gotta make that very, very clear to her. And this is what I mean. Like, when I talk about I'm seeking knowledge, I'm talking about this dunya means nothing. Like, we're gonna be sleeping on the floor, we're gonna be eating food on the floor, there's gonna be dirt in the house, sand blowing in the windows, we're gonna be in a mud house, no electricity, and you're gonna have to be patient. If she says no, go find another one.
We're going to be in a penthouse in New York on the 37th floor in Manhattan.
Well, if you want that, then you go marry for that. You go marry for the dunya. Instead, can we get rewarded for exercising and being in shape? Yeah, if you're doing it to get ready to stand up and protect this deen, but for anything else, to no. And you know what I mean. You know, you get ready for the Rafida when they start acting stupid again. Well, they never stopped at acting stupid. But when they start acting stupid in your neighborhood, that you can be ready for that, then yeah, that's what you get Ajr for.
The tacos are gonna get soggy.
Huh?
The tacos are gonna get soggy.
Y'all go eat.
Already ate attractive sandwich.
Abdul Malik said the man being gone to seek knowledge is not grounds for a woman to get a khulur. It's not. If she agreed on that from the beginning, she doesn't have grounds to get a khulur because it's something that she agreed on at the beginning of the marriage. If the man didn't tell her that, and then he did that, and he's not giving her rights, then that would be grounds. But if he explained that to her, like, look, I'm gonna go out and seek knowledge, you're gonna have to be patient, and she agrees, then yeah, it's not grounds. Like, she agreed to it. Khalas. You know, that's on her.
The Houthis, the Rafida? Are the Houthis the Rafida?
They are some of the Rafida. They're not the Rafida. They are ba'dahum. Ooh, here's a good one. Is it permissible to speak online on phone to your fiance with the permission of the wali? Without the wali's presence, no. It's not permissible. It's not permissible. It's permissible to speak on the phone with her and with his presence, and that you talk to her with his presence, not without his presence. Because if the wali's not present and you and the girl present, it's you, the girl, and shaitan. How do we know at what time or when or at what age does a narrator narrate hadith? You got to read through the books of Kutub al-Rijal. Instead, is it true that one of the Salaf drank his own urine 6 times, was seeking knowledge and traveling? I don't know. How would he drink his urine 6 times? Because look, man, number one, the only reason why you would drink your urine is if you were out in the middle of the desert and you had no water. How many times are you going to be able to urinate and drink it again before you just have no more urine? 6 times, that's too much to be out in the desert. You don't understand. Look, number one, when you're out in the middle of the desert and it's 120 plus degrees and you're like out in the sun, guess what? You know what you don't do a lot of? You don't do a lot of urinating because you're sweating a lot of the water out anyways. If you notice, even if you keep drinking water, when you do finally urinate, your urine's like what? It's like dark color because the heat in the body's using up all that water. And you're not urinating that much. So I don't know how that could be possible, honestly.
It's that Abu Taymiyyah, he's the one that's be preaching now a lot. One of the sellers, they drink your urine 6 times.
Well, then tell Abu Taymiyyah to go drink his own urine then, of course, man. If he's preaching that so much, then let him go drink his own urine. But nah, man, that's najasa. I mean, like I said, that's the only thing I could think of why would somebody do that is if, like what? But I mean, come on, Akhi, we've been out in the desert. We've been stuck out in the desert on the border of Yemen when we were trying to cross over into Saudi. I'm telling you, you're not going to be going to the bathroom a lot. When you're out in that sun all day long, it's 120-something degrees. It was so hot out there, my son fell asleep out on the street because we had to sleep in the street. And he woke up saying my legs are on fire. That's how hot it was. He's yeah, originally I'm like, dude, it's the sun. It's not it was so hot, you know. Imagine like Fresno on the hottest day of the year, then add like 7 degrees to it. 7, 8 degrees to it. And then you got to sleep out on the street waiting for them to let you through the borders. You ain't urinating a lot, man, sitting out there for days and stuff like that. There's brothers that stayed out there for a whole week. Trust me, man. Not in that heat, you have to be drinking a lot of water, not your urine. I don't know where these stories, I don't know. I don't know these stories. Got to get Muslimanized. Yes, that would be a good thing.
So you're going to buy your own 2 goats?
Ustad, how do you fight self-amazement while seeking knowledge or doing good deeds? Again, what did I tell you? The question is, Ustad, how do you fight self-amazement while seeking knowledge or doing good deeds? Stop comparing yourself to your peers. Stop comparing yourself to the people now and compare yourself to Al-Imam al-Bukhari, Al-Imam Ahmed, Imam Muslim, Shu'bah, Zuhri, Sufyanan, Abdullah ibn Mubarak, and compare yourself to the Salaf. Don't compare yourself to the people now. If you compare yourself to the people now, well, you sit there and think yourself Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah before the day's over. And you don't even know Arabic. It's like, yeah, I read 20 books in Islam. I'm like Shaykh al-Islam. Just if you compare yourself to the people, man, please. Don't do that. Don't do that. Muhammad Fatima said, you got black women who have married Arabs that I know. Look, man, Arabs love black women, especially from East Africa.
Oh, yeah.
They love Somali women, they love Ethiopian women, but they can't marry them because of the culture. That's the reason that keeps a lot of where the Arab men do not marry from those parts of the world is because of the culture. It's not because they don't love, they only love Arab women or they're racist. Nah.
Not me.
Now, my wife's father, he must have married like 6 or 7 wives from Somalia.
Huh?
6 or 7. Yeah, he divorced. I mean, he didn't have 6 at one time, but I'm just saying that like probably 6 or 7. Like he's got children from wives that his main children have never even met before. Allah yarhamu. He's dead now, man. Allah have mercy on him. And very nice, very, very good father-in-law. I always prayed in the masjid. Boy, he loved East Africa. He grew up in Somalia. He's Yemeni, but he grew up in Somalia his whole life. In fact, he's half Somali himself. His mother was Somali. So yeah. But like I said, when he goes back to Yemen, he's looked down upon. He's looked like because he married from Somalia and his kids, they're not accepted. Like everybody, the society looks down on them. So that's the reason why a lot of people don't get married. It's because of that. But if she's from America, then that's a different story. Because she won't be, she's not a black woman now, she's American. So it's different in the culture. Because like I said, it's all about the culture. That's all. I've seen so many people, they had a girl that they were going to marry. She's from Somalia. The family wouldn't let them get married. They just would not let them. The mother was like, if you do this, I'm never talking to you again. The mother. And then he can't do that. Like the Yemenis. In Yemen, where like he wanted to marry like a Somali girl. And he was all in love with her, but he couldn't marry her because the mother would not let the family, the culture would not let it happen. So it's not like, it's not like the Arabs, they don't have anything against black women. That's not the issue. The issue is the culture. So.
They're just missing out.
Huh?
They're missing out.
What?
They're missing out.
But it's crazy. They go to get married in Morocco and other places, and that's fine. It's weird. Well, I would rather have a wife from Ethiopia than have a wife from Morocco. Any day. Any day. I would rather have one wife from Ethiopia than 4 wives from Morocco. So.
It's 9:13.
Huh?
It's 9:13.
Yeah, who cares? Who made you there's so many questions, Akhiya. I'm not even like halfway down the list right now.
A lot of it is just Fatima like making comments and from Singa, Mauritania, Mali.
Who's Mauritania?
No, they say they're just adding comments. And then there's Abdul Malik.
Hold on. I got another one. Abu Nusaybas al-Albani says, Ustad, what are your thoughts on one Salafi Shiyukh cooperating with the Houthis in Yemen? If they're cooperating with the Houthis in Yemen, the Rafidah, they're not Salafis. Well, they're not from us, we're not from them. They got nothing to do with the Sunnah. They got nothing to do with this deen. If they cooperate with the Rafidah, they got nothing to do with us. And we got nothing to do with them. Well, watch what happens to them. Sooner or later, and you mark my word, what's the day? Y'all can write this down in your little diaries when I say this, inshallah, because it's going to happen sooner or later. Wait, all those dudes that are cooperating with the Houthis, wait till the Houthis turn their guns on them. And then when they come back and try to cry to Ahl Sunnah, we don't want them back. You want to go cry to dogs, you stay and live with the dogs. Khalas, don't come back. You want to dishonor yourself, then khalas, you live with dishonor. Got nothing to do with them, but watch what's going to happen. Because the Houthis don't trust them. Well, the Houthis hate them. Well, they treat them like little pets. You know what I'm saying? Like these so-called Salafis that are running around cooperating with the Houthis don't trust them. They know, because they know what a real Salafi is. And they know that the real Salafi does not stand with no Rafidi. So what does that show you? That it shows you that these dudes are chameleons. They're like, with the low one. They got like, when they're around Salafi, like this guy, Muhammad al-Imam. He wrote books about the Rafida. Wrote books against them, right? And then when the Houthis took over, all of a sudden he becomes like their best little pet, And then he says, take all my books that I ever wrote of the Rafida, take them out of all the libraries. They don't trust you no matter what you do. Well, at least if you die like a man, right? Like those brothers in Damascus, they stood up like men. And they stood up for the deen. Sheikh Yahya stood up in their face. He never bowed down to them, never cooperated with them, never. They told them, they told the Sheikh over and over and over again, we will stop attacking you. Stop talking about us. That's all they wanted the Sheikh to do, was to do what? Be quiet. And they would have stopped attacking, so they say, right?
Oh, yeah,
and the Sheikh said, I'm never going to stop talking about you. And they kept attacking. Doesn't matter. And that's that. Even when those brothers were getting attacked in Sana'a, this is just recently. And they're telling the Sheikh, stop talking about the Rafida, they're bothering us. And the Sheikh told him, he said, leave Sana'a. I'm not going to be quiet about them. Why are y'all still there? Why do you still stay in Sana'a? Leave. Why do you want to sit there and live under their control? Nah, so anybody that goes and cooperates with the Rafidis, they're not from us. Salafi, that ain't no Salafi. Well, they didn't benefit one thing from their time in Damascus. If that's what they do, wallahi, subhanallah. Wallahi, could you imagine that, akhi? Brothers standing up to fighting for this deen. Dying. And these dudes are over there, oh, the Rafidas, they're our brothers. Why the Rafidah are attacking and killing our brothers? Well, like they talk about there, man, we ain't got nothing to do with them. Well, I give salams to Houthi before I give a salams to Muhammad al-Imam now. Well, after what he did.
One of the spokesmen of the Houthis, he said publicly on live television, he said, like, I consider Abdul Malik al-Houthi as a Nabi. I can send you the video.
Even these guys, these jokers that are now, buddy, like I said, the good little pets of the Houthis. Mm-hmm. Even when they talk about this Abdul Malik al-Houthi, what do they say? A Sayyid. Yeah, akhi, taqillah. You call yourself Salafi talking about a Sayyid. Well, and you know these people. From the belief of the Houthis, from the Rafida in Yemen, their belief is because they're from Ahlul Bayt, that they're from the family of the Prophet, that their belief, their aqidah is that Allah created the tribesmen, the Qabili, to serve them as a slave for them. This is their belief, akhi. This is their deen. And you're going to sit here and try to make friends with them and think that they're going to, please, man, they just turned you into their little slave boy. Oh, Muhammad al-Imam, he's a good little boy. He obeys everything we tell him to do. That's just what they do. That's their beliefs, akhi. That's their aqidah, that all these people are made for what? To serve them. To serve them as Ahlul Bayt. Please, man. Well, like I said, they benefited nothing. Nah, Sheikh Yahya, that's a man. Like, they need to, like, that's a man. And anybody that sat there and watched what he did and how he stood up and all this fitna, that's what a man does. All those other people, that's what the female versions of dogs do. Allahumma musta'an. Man, we gotta get out of here. Y'all got my blood pressure shooting through the roof, man. Subhanallah, Allahumma musta'an.
Like, oh, who cares?